Well, hello, Old Outdoor Broad here with yet another cochlear implant slash hearing journey update. So let me tell you where I'm at. About 3 weeks or so ago, I had an appointment with my audiologist, and woohoo, I was at 92% comprehension in my right ear, the ear that had the implant. So I met the threshold for now getting the hearing aid in my left ear and getting my left ear going again. I'm sure you all remember that the um, the whole point is to give your brain time to relearn how to hear, meaning interpret electronic signals versus acoustic signals, because that's what you get now in the ear with the implant. And because the volume was so low in my left ear, even though my comprehension was well in the 90s, the volume is really low. All I had to do was not wear a hearing aid. I didn't have to put an earplug in or anything. And for the last 2 to 3 months, that's what I've been doing, is just experiencing the world on my right ear only so that I could get good at hearing with my right ear. So I want to talk a little bit about the left hearing aid, or whichever one it may be for you, the hearing aid combination with the cochlear implant, and what that experience has been. So when she did the test and said, okay, you're good, we can get your hearing aid, the first thing that happens is she made a mold of my left ear. So that was new. And let me show you why that is new. Let me take the left hearing aid out. And yeah, it just got a little quieter. But you can see, and I'll try and find a spot with the computer camera that isn't too blurry, but you can see it's not like a regular hearing aid. It doesn't have the little wire, it has this tube instead, and it doesn't have the standard earpiece, small, medium, large, that you then, cram in and see if it fits. So they make this mold, and then this earpiece, I'm going to just rotate it for you there. This earpiece fits into your ear, and you know what? It's really comfortable. Really a big difference from the other earpieces. So fits right in and super, super comfortable. Now, before I put it back in, one other thing I want to show you. See that little knob up there on the top? Hopefully you can see it right there. Yeah, little notch. So I'm going to put my fingernail in there and open that up. And for good, bad, right or wrong, this works on regular hearing aid batteries, P13 batteries, these are. And I asked her about rechargeable, and she said, no, can't get them, no rechargeable. So that being said, I then also asked her how long they last. And she said about 7 days. And this is the second battery. And yeah, she was perfectly accurate. The first one lasted a little more than 7 days. Now, the reason I would rather have a rechargeable if it's available is because, for the most part, in the morning when you put it in, you're going to have a good battery for the day. With a regular old battery, you really don't know when it's running down. Now, that being said, just like the device has the beep noise that lets you know if the battery is running down, the hearing aid with the regular battery in it, it also makes a noise if the battery is running down. And it's funny, it makes a noise like a small model, miniature model train whistle of all things. So that was kind of funny when it first went off the first time that happened. So now you've got to decide, excuse me, about carrying batteries around and things like that. And I haven't really decided for myself. Now, obviously, camping, because of the 12-volt charging issue that came up with the rechargeable batteries for the device, I'm already having to use regular batteries for that. And so I'm just going to have regular batteries for that. And I will definitely have spare batteries for the hearing aid in my little emergency kit that I put together and take with me when I travel. So, what was it like? That's the next question. Oh my goodness. It was loud. The world is loud. It's the good and bad, right? To not have to hear the constant barrage of noise that's in our world, especially if you're in a city environment. There's a kind of a nice thing to that. But of course, the downside is, what you miss if someone is standing right in front of you talking, what you miss with music. I'll talk about music in just a moment. And then, of course, the correlation between hard of hearing, impaired hearing, and dementia. So none of us want that, right? So it's better to deal with the noise. So, yes, big difference. Now, the difference I haven't seen yet is directionality. I was on a hike with a friend, and of course, there are birds, right? And I still had a real hard time telling where sound was coming from, but it was better. And music is still a little weird. Now, why is it weird? Here's why. First of all, remember, I'm only at 92%. How much better that will get, the truth is, I do not know. And it's not natural. It just isn't the same sound quality that your ear unimpeded would be. And there's still a little echoey to it. And now I've got the hearing aid, where that ear, it's acoustic hearing signals I'm getting there. So the quality is better. And I think it's also a little louder. Now, what my brain has to do now, it spent 2 to 3 months learning how to interpret electronic signals and hear decently. Now, these two devices are connected. You can't just stick your old hearing aid in your ear when you get a cochlear implant. They need to link and they need to work together. So you're going to get a new one. And I'm telling you right now, just that earpiece alone, you hardly even know you have a hearing aid on with that. But now they got to work together. So now your brain has to learn how to take two separate types of signals, electronic and acoustic, and combine them to provide you with the best hearing experience that you're capable of having. So, how good that's going to get, ultimately, I don't know. Now, I mentioned music. Listening to music is now much, much better. I can certainly hear it much better, but it's still, because of the echoey and the difficulty here. Unfortunately, they're connected, and so it's still not pure. It's not great. And especially what I notice, I like all kinds of music. So I listen to pop, and I'm old, so I listen to older stuff, but I also listen to classical music. And classical music is really tough just because of the complexity. When you think about an orchestra and all the instruments in an orchestra combining to perform a symphony, and how much your brain has to pick through and work out with that kind of music, yeah, it's pretty complicated. So classical music is still difficult just because of the condition of this. So we're just going to have to see. That's going to be the next part of my journey, is how these two learn to work together. So that's really all I have today. What I'm going to do on the next video, hopefully it'll be coming pretty quick, is there is some tech that you have to work with here to maximize your devices, both of them, because they're now both connected. And for 2 to 3 months, the tech I was using on my phone was only impacting the implant. Now I can impact both. Again, trying to work them together as best as possible. But I want to show you that tech. And one of the reasons I thought I really should do this is because, I get up in the morning, I put my stuff in, there's a default setting, and in the morning, everything is fine. And then I go out into the world and do things, and I really should change settings, but a lot of times I forget. So it's like you're in say a restaurant with some friends, and a restaurant is noisy, and you're like, man, I had thousands of dollars worth of stuff going on and I still can't hear the table conversation. Well, there's a setting that helps you hear that kind of thing better. But you got to remember to take your phone out, change the setting, blah, 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 blah. So, so I'm going to go over that with you. And I'm still learning. I'm trying to get in the habit of, okay, I'm inside this setting. Now I'm outside where there's a whole lot more noise. I need a different setting, and get in the habit of managing my tech a little bit better. So I'll share that with you next time. In the meantime, thank you so much for joining, and wishing you the best on your hearing journey. And I'll continue to throw things out there that I think are useful and valuable. And as always, I will be hearing you in the old outdoors. Thank you very much.